Hey guys, today I just wanted to show you this simple stage design thing that we came up with. We redid our stage after Christmas and we had to come up with some ideas of how we wanted it to look. And we went back to this kind of more rustic, pallet wall with the Edison bulbs. And the Edison bulbs that we had hanging was just a little not quite enough. So me and the worship pastor came up with this idea of having these on some sticks. And I've done these before in different ways, but this is, I think, a better method of putting it together. So we've got this copper pipe, and then these connectors here for the bulbs that just kind of look a little bit more in line with the whole pallet wood kind of style. So this copper pipe, and then we've got some bases that are just made out of basic wood that we just stained black. And just kind of a quick, cool idea to liven up the stage look a little bit more. So I wanted to show you how I came up with it and how we're gonna put it together. Like I said, these copper pipes, they just kind of fit the vibe. And so I found these guys on Amazon, and I'll link everything in the description below. But I really wanted to kind of custom make these so that we could cut them to different heights that we wanted that would fit our stage and the whole setup. And then also with the actual cable, I wanted to make sure that we could reach the dimmer packs. So I just bought an entire reel of, I think, 16-2 lamp cable that you can get at Home Depot. So I was able to cut these to really long lengths, so no matter where they go on the stage, they'll be able to reach the dimmer packs. So before I finished, I wanted to just show you the process of how I actually built one. So we've got our cable here, and the first thing that we're gonna do is put together this part of the fixture. So there's a lot of different components to this specific one. If you get a different, this part of the fixture, the socket, then it might be a different method for you. But for us, we've got some different parts. We've got this little plastic piece that's gonna go on first, because this is the last thing that is connected. You wanna make sure everything's on there before you separate this, otherwise it's gonna be a little more complicated. Then we've got this part, kind of outer jacket of the fixture. And then these guys, this little threaded piece here is what everything is going to connect to. So got that. And then this ceramic piece where the bulb actually screws into is going to go on next. I'm going to just remove this quick. So once you've got all of your components on there, we're just going to separate this wire. And I've just got some wire strippers here. Make sure you read the side of the wire strippers to make sure that you are cutting it at the right gauge. That's the word. And I'm just twisting these guys nice and tight so that they don't separate when we connect them. You could take the extra step to solder these ends, tin them up a little bit, but it's not really necessary. What we're gonna do next is connect these to the actual pins here. So these are just screw on. All right, so now we have all of these on here. We just gotta assemble it. So I'm gonna pull this down and screw it back into the ceramic part of the socket. Let's spin this outer jacket on. If you're using this specific piece here, it even says this in the instructions. You can check out how you want to kind of use this tool backwards. You want to push it out so that you can tighten it on. then you've got that piece, and then all's left is this cap. So this side is done. The next thing we need to do is actually route the cable through the pipe. So we've got our copper pipe. I just cut this with a copper pipe cutting tool, and I'll link that in the description as well. So before I glue this on, I'm just gonna make sure that everything works. So I'm gonna first connect the other side. This other side is much more simple. It's just this plug. So this is just 2-prong plug. Unscrew it, pull it apart. And then we're gonna make sure that this goes through the base before we wire it up. Otherwise, you'll be wiring it twice. And again, separating this, selecting the right gauge. You don't need this part to, you don't need much room here. And when you pull this apart, you can see that there's 2 sides. It doesn't matter which side you go with here, but what we want to do is give this a little bit of a curve in it, and whatever angle, whatever direction you're spinning it. So I'm on this right side here. When I tighten this, it's going to move in this direction. So I'm going to make sure I curve it that way so that it works with me instead of against me. Get that nice and tight. Make sure you got a solid connection there. And then do the same thing for the other side. If you're using this specific plug, you just want to make sure that you've got these going through the channels. It'll sit in there, and then once you tighten it, it'll look like it's not ready to go, but it is. You just got to tighten it down all the way. Then you got your plug side. So next step is to go ahead and test it before you glue it up, because you want to make sure that it works. So I'm going to steal a bulb from one that I know actually works. Moment of truth. All right. Next thing you do is just put these together. Make sure it looks the way you want it to before you glue it up and put it together. I was using this hot glue gun. You could also go ahead and solder it or come up with a more sophisticated method, but that's it. That's how it's put together. I did forget to mention on the base, someone from our church here took this threaded piece of copper and cut through it and put a dado in here. So they used a saw to create a little groove so that our wire can come through and it can sit flat on the ground. You could also put some little screws in the bottom or something to lift it off of the base so that you wouldn't need to cut that dado. But either way, that's a pretty quick way to get an interesting piece of stage design to work with your stage and give it some depth and also some light. So this whole project came in probably around $250, maybe a little bit less, and that included the tools required as well, like the cutting tool and the wood itself and the stain. So I would say that it's definitely worth it. We're gonna put it together and show you some more footage of it as well once it is working together with our whole stage design. Links for everything will be below in the description. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and let us know in the comments what you think of this stage design.